McDonald's recently made a stunning revelation that it was moving its headquarters from the suburbs of Chicago into the West Loop, the downtown area of Chicago, taking over the Harpo Studios, once owned by Oprah Winfrey. It's a big story here in Chicago, but it's a trend that's happening nationwide. Joining me now is Rachel Weber. She's a professor at UIC with urban planning and public policy. So what do you see as far as this trend out there that's happening?
Well, it's not just the Chicago region that is experiencing this kind of transformation. A lot of corporate headquarters and just large tenants are moving in from the suburbs to downtown locations, from suburban office parks to downtown skyscrapers and office towers, partly to take advantage of access to a new workforce, right, to a younger demographic, and also taking advantage of transit access and shorter commuting times. So they're located downtown.
It's because younger people want to be in the city, and that's where their hottest prospects are for finding talent to work at these companies. It's unbelievable. So really the millennials are changing the landscape of how we'll be living.
They really are. I mean, and I think it's good news for those of us who care about the sort of sustainability of the regional economy, and the fact that I think fewer people are going to be driving to work, more people are going to be taking transit or even biking and walking, given that there's so many now downtown residential locations, not just in Chicago, but in many other cities as well.
What is the downside of this? Because clearly the suburbs are losing some major tenants.
Well, that's the case. I mean, the suburbs are they're not very excited about this trend, and many of them are having a very hard time holding on to their main sort of sources of jobs and property taxes. And so from a regional economy perspective, this sort of moving around of it's sort of almost a musical chairs kind of experience is not necessarily good for the suburbs. So even McDonald's is not growing in size, so when jobs are moving downtown, they're taking those jobs.
Oh, sure.
There's an absence and a loss in another place in the economy.
Oh, they're saying 2,000 people will be working at this headquarters in McDonald's in downtown Chicago. So what does it mean to the area as well? Because does it mean that people who live in those areas, all of a sudden their property taxes are going to rise substantially?
We may see some of that. At the same time, when you have conflicting land uses, when you have new commercial moving into an area that's primarily residential, that doesn't necessarily cause the same kind of spike in property taxes that you might expect, even though in the area where McDonald's is moving in, we also see a lot of sort of high-end condo development and new residential development. I would say that almost is having a greater effect on property values.
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Sure. My pleasure.